Hi, I'm Julie McCluskey, Director of Communications and Community Engagement for Summit School District. And we are at Summit High School getting an opportunity to visit with sophomore students who've just completed their personal projects. The personal project is a culmination of a full year's worth of work. Students take on this project to explore one of their passions, something they're interested in or something they're curious about. It's part of our International Baccalaureate Middle Years program, and certainly a great opportunity for students to show off what they know and have that opportunity to learn outside of the classroom. We're going to be visiting a variety of students and their projects, everything from taxidermy to community service with wounded warriors. It's important to know that this part of a student's learning at Summit High School will eventually become a part of their graduation requirements. We have a number of adults here helping us judge these projects and giving students feedback about what they've done well and what they could improve upon. It is that exciting time in a student's life when they're also starting to explore careers. And this is one of those moments where you might see a couple of students who are thinking about automotive work or maybe even photography. So join me now as we take a walk through Summit High School and talk with some of our students about their personal projects. Hi, I'm here with Kate Lawson, and we're about to talk about her personal project here at Summit High School. So Kate, tell us a little bit about the personal project that you did.
So my personal project, I chose to photograph all the Colorado seasons, and I wanted them to all be like good pictures and something that I would want to show others.
Something that you'd want to show others. So these are works of art that maybe you'd like to sell or give as gifts?
Yeah, the two canvases are actually I gave for gifts to my parents, but if I could, I would love to sell them if I had the opportunity.
If you had the opportunity, I love that. Do you want to be an artist when you grow up or a photographer?
If I could make a living out of photography, that'd be really great, but it would be really hard to get going on that, but I will definitely try.
That's great, Kate. So tell us a little bit about the personal project process. How did you decide that this is what you wanted to spend a whole year working on?
Well, I really knew I liked photography from the start, and I knew I wanted to improve it and get a style instead of just having a plain picture. I wanted to have my own personal part to it. So I thought if I could photograph all the seasons, I would be able to get a picture that, get a style that I would want to. Oh God.
No, that's great. So how would you describe your style in your personal project and in your photographs? What did you learn about yourself?
So I learned that I really want to enhance color, and I don't want to overcrowd a photo with too many colors. And I want to give it almost a tiny film look, and I learned how to do that through Lightroom, which is an editing software.
Wow. So
Yeah.
did you learn that here in your classes, or did you find people in the community to help you with the project?
With the project, it was a lot of trial and error on my part, and then I had to use YouTube tutorials to get a better knowledge on Lightroom and how to work it.
Oh, that's great. Sounds like an exciting process and one that you're probably pretty proud of.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of the outcome.
Good. What was the hardest part of your personal project?
The hardest part was probably taking pictures of spring, because it's hard for me to even identify spring in Colorado. And it's like that time of year where you can't really hike, and the skiing's not too great, except right now it's pretty great. But it took me a little time to think of what I wanted to take pictures of and how to distinguish spring from winter.
Sure, I love that. And maybe it's spring in Summit County, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
we call it mud season up here.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Kate, I'm going to ask you one last question. If you were to talk to a ninth grader today about the personal project and what it means to do a personal project, what would you tell them? What would be your advice?
I would tell them to do something that they really like to do, because if they do something that they like to do, the project will become a lot easier. And sometimes they'll be working on their project when they're not even actually knowing it, and it'll be a much better outcome than doing it the night before.
Ah, that's right. You took a whole year working
Yeah.
through all of the seasons.
Yeah.
Well, Kate, thank you.
Thank you.
A great project, great advice, and we're excited for you and your opportunity to share it with the community this evening.
Thank you.
You bet. I'm here with Lorna Stevens, who's going to talk to us about her personal project, Poetry in Motion. So Lorna, tell us a little bit about what you did.
So for my personal project this year, I decided to make a poetry book, and it has it's not a normal poetry book, it has different other things in it. Like I would just sit down and write my thoughts in it to it, and I put that in here too.
Nice.
And I also did stories because I like writing stories, and some of them are kind of just like plans, but some of them are kind of like full-fledged stories kind of thing. So yeah.
Great. Why did you call it Poetry in Motion?
Well, because like I don't know, I like writing poetry a lot, but I didn't want it to be just poetry kind of. So I decided to add like stories and the other things like that. And I don't like how poetry rhymes. It kind of just it bothers me. So so what I would do is kind of just make it in like a poem format, and then
Neat.
yeah.
So really moving through different types of poetry, different types of storytelling. Tell us a little bit about your process. When did you start your project, and how did you work on it over the last year?
Well, I started in the summer by doing a poem a day, which was really cool. And then I kind of switched up my ideas a couple of times, but then I finally decided like December-ish to finally do this and like pull it all together. And yeah.
That's wonderful. Would you be willing to read us one of your poems,
Yeah.
or a little bit of one?
Yeah.
Great.
Let's see. Which one do you want?
Let's see. How about All My Fault?
Okay. This one is on like the topic of smoking and stuff like that. So it's kind of a heavier topic, but I really like it.
Good.
So, all my fault. Click goes the lighter as my mother puts up to the white stick, protruding from her mouth, a cigarette. She says it makes her feel better, says it's her medicine, but how can it be medicine when it's slowly killing you? Medicine is supposed to make you feel better, not kill you. The smoke begins to rise from the cigarette, making its way into the air. She breathes in slowly, holds it in for what seems like forever. In that moment, she looks ghostly, then slowly exhales, and the poison comes streaming out. Smiling, she opens her eyes and sees me. Her smile vanishes at the sight. All she does is point. I start, but Mom! She points more vigorously. The message is clear, and I leave. I have lost yet another battle.
Oh my gosh, Lorna, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Very well written, and it sounds like a very personal thing for you
Yeah.
as well. So you're a global context.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, what is the global context? What does that mean in the IB world, and what you chose to write, to do your project through?
So my global context was personal and cultural expression, and I feel like writing poetry and stories and thoughts really helps me. It's almost like a therapy for me. When I'm feeling sad, I just write poems and I write my thoughts down, and it's really a good outlet rather than just keeping it all bottled up inside.
Sure. I can see that particularly with that poem. So what is global context? What does that mean in the IB world?
I think it's kind of like ideas that we focus on to guide our learning to certain points so we can get to these deeper ideas and deeper meanings of the topics that we're trying to explore.
Very well said.
Thank you.
You do understand how that works, especially with an MYP project. Well, Lorna, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sounds like a great project, great completion. If you were to talk to a ninth grader and share your experience and maybe a little bit of advice about what to do on a personal project, what would you tell them?
Definitely start early because, like me, you might be changing your ideas around a lot, but then definitely try and set down an idea early enough so that you can get your ideas developed and really get into it and make sure the project is well done.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Well, good. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ryan Snell is here to tell us about Marty the Mallard, his personal project. So Ryan, I've got a duck. Tell me what it was that you did.
All right, so what I did was I mounted this bird. I went through the taxidermy process. First of all, I started out in October. I got this bird while we were duck hunting up by Kremling.
Have you been hunting there before?
Yes, really duck hunting is one of my passions, and I'm a little crazy about it, but that's okay. It's lots of fun.
How many times have you been, or how many birds have you?
Well, I got my dad into duck hunting when I was 10, so 4 or 5 years I've been out duck hunting.
Wow, and you got him into duck hunting,
Yep.
He didn't get you.
My dad was into elk hunting, and so everything else we hunt, ducks and small game, pretty much I got him into that just
That's
for fun
great.
because I
That's
was
great.
really interested in it.
Good, so you were up in Kremling hunting ducks, and you decided to do a personal project around Taxidermy. All right, so lead us back. I interrupted you.
Okay, so for a while, really, I wanted to taxidermy it. When you get a bird, it's really fun to bring it back to life by taxiderming it. So I went down to Denver and I met a man named Brad. He owns a taxidermy business called A Lasting Memory Taxidermy, and he mentored me. What we did is he did a bird at the same time. I followed his steps and did my own bird. So we went through the process: skinning, defatting, drying, and then finally you put it on the foam body and you preen it to make it look like it's alive again.
Wow, that is really spectacular. So this was the first time you had
Yep.
ever brought a bird back to life.
I'd tried a couple times, and you don't get something right away, so it didn't work out right away. So this is the first time I successfully mounted the bird, and I'm really excited about it. Something
good for
I
you.
really, really wanted to do, and I finally did it.
So will you do it again?
I-
Or with other animals?
I'll probably someday I'll try with maybe an elk or a deer, but for now I want to do more birds. This fall I'm planning on going duck hunting lots more, and then I'll take those birds, and now that I know how to do it, I'll try to get some of the tools I need, and then I'll be doing a lot more of my own birds.
So you can do it on your own now after this experience.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, Ryan, about the personal project. Every sophomore has an opportunity to choose a different type of activity or event or something like this, just based on their own interests. Is this, having done this now for a year, worked on your project, what can you say you learned about yourself or about taxidermy through doing the personal project?
So what I really like about the personal project is that you can pick whatever really interests you. So, sometimes you're in school and you're enjoying school because it's fun, but it's nothing like doing what you're really passionate about. And ducks is my passion. And more than that, I love the outdoors and being outside, especially with my family, my dad and my brother. We really spend a lot of our best times together out in the woods. And so by doing this, I've learned that you can't give up on something. You got to keep trying and always do your best and have fun while you're doing it.
I love that, and I'm really glad that you had the opportunity to explore a passion and do something you love, because I don't think taxidermy is a class at Summit High School, is it?
It's definitely not. And so...
Not yet. Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
You could come back and teach it. How's that?
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Great job. Nice work.
Thank you.
So no surprise that several of our students pick something related to the skiing industry or being in a resort community for their personal project. Deacon Spearling made a ski. So tell us a little bit about your project.
So I got the idea out in New York when my dad was kind of trying to get me to start on it. And I kind of came up with the idea of either buying a pair of custom skis or making a pair.
Wow.
And he hooked me up with a good friend of his, Jack Bussey, who lives up in Montezuma. And Jack taught me how to bend the edges, plane the cores, and design the ski as a whole. And he also let me use his equipment, like his CNC router and his ski press, and all the equipment needed to make and design a pair of skis. So what we did first is we designed a template in SnowCAD, I think is what the program is called.
So SnowCAD, I'm familiar with a lot of the CAD software that you would use for landscaping or architecture. So they have design software to make a ski.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
And basically you put in the basic length and dimensions that you want, and then you can play with it.
So tell me, what's the length of your ski?
So the length of the ski is approximately 170.5.
Okay.
The width at the tip is 132, the width at the tail is 128, and the width underfoot is 102.
And did you choose the size based on your current favorite pair of skis, or did you?
I kind of made it a mutt of a bunch of different skis that I like.
A mutt
took
of a bunch of different skis.
the tip design from a pair of K2s, like one of their powder line. I took the underfoot from the Faction Agent 100s, which is the skis that I currently own right now.
Okay.
And I kind of made the rocker and the basic shape of the ski after a pair of Blizzards that I just kind of thought would be a fun ski.
I love this. So you took all your favorite pairs of skis and put them together into the dream ski.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much.
great.
And the cores that we got are from the Adirondacks out in New York, because at our property out there we had a birch tree that we needed to cut down, and I had learned that yellow birch is used in a lot of skis, mixed with a little bit of a softer wood like poplar or aspen.
Wow.
And I thought it would be kind of cool to have wood from a property that my parents and I own and have it in a ski that I can just take up on the mountain every day.
What an awesome way, a personal way to connect with a sport that I know you love. So tell me, have you been out skiing on them?
Yes, I went last weekend when it dumped a
Yeah.
bunch of snow.
And
they skied like a dream. They were awesome.
I love this. So, Deacon, is your future now in ski design or ski manufacturing? What are you going to do?
I would like to be a patroller, but I
Awesome.
thought that it would just be kind of a fun hobby to have, to be able to know how and make a pair of skis.
Well, I'm impressed. If I were to say, have you talk with a 9th grade student, right? And you're going to share your experience, this personal project, what it meant to you and what you learned, what would you tell them?
I'd tell them basically just find something that you love to do, find something that you can do with that, and just find someone that you know or your parents know or someone you know knows, and figure out how to do it.
Yeah, it helps to have a
something like that.
mentor, right? Somebody
yes, it
that
helps
can.
so much. If
Good.
I didn't have Jack and my dad, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably be making a ski edit.
Well, Deacon, congratulations.
Thank
Great
you.
product. Quite the process. And I'm particularly touched by the fact that there's a tree from New York here skiing the slopes of Colorado. Good job.
Thank you.
Misael Molina did a project that's very personal to him. He wanted to raise awareness about pit bulls. So let's start, Misael. You have a pit bull, right?
Yep.
What's your pit bull's name?
His name is, we kind of named him off a chip bag. His name is Chito.
Ah, and tell me about Chico. How old is Chico, and do you play with him?
Yeah, his name is Chito, like Cheetos.
Cheetos. Oh,
Like
sorry.
Chito. And,
Cheeto.
yeah. Well, he's a small little brindle pit bull,
Uh-huh.
and right now he's in Mexico.
Oh, he is. Well, you picked a project that obviously means something to you. What were you trying to do? And tell me what you've learned.
Well, I was trying to raise awareness. Like, there are many facts and myths about pit bulls.
Myths and facts. So some people have impressions about pit bulls
Yeah,
that they
I-
might be really dangerous, right?
Well, I can't blame them. Some of them might have had really bad experiences, showing that they believe that pit bulls are all bad.
Right.
But you shouldn't close your mind to all the pit bulls. Maybe it was just one that was raised badly.
Sure. And so through this survey, you were trying to educate people about the truth, how pit bulls really are. You were just telling me about one of the myths or one of the tall tales that you thought was real but turned out not to be. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
What
Which
was
one
that?
was it again?
The head swelling?
Oh yeah. There is a myth saying that if once a pit bull's head starts swelling, that they go crazy.
Okay. And that's not true.
That's not actually true.
How did you find that out?
Like, I went on to 4 websites because technically here I don't have that many resources to go to personally, but I was only able to go through 5 websites, and they all said that when their head swells, that they do not go crazy.
Well, that was good. So how are you helping to educate the many people. I think you said around 200 people took your survey.
Yeah,
That's
about
great.
200.
That's great. How are you letting them know the facts about pit bulls?
Well, at the end of the survey, if you leave your email, I'll send you a link to to a page that shows all of the truth and facts about this.
That's terrific. So I took the survey. Somebody sent it out to me, and
Was it Miss Hill?
It
was Miss Hill.
Yes, and I went ahead and took it, and at the end, I received some of the answers about things that I thought were true about pit bulls and really weren't. How many? Tell me some of the facts that we've got going on here, Miss Ayel.
Well, some of the facts.
Yeah. What did people think about pit bulls being naturally aggressive?
Well, the majority said that's false, that they're not naturally aggressive, which surprised me because I thought that most people say that it's true.
But they knew. I wonder if that's because in Summit County we're a little more pit bull friendly, aren't we? Down in Denver, I know you can't own a pit bull, right?
Well, yeah, they raised it so high that if you bring a pit bull and you're not from there, that they'll shoot it inside the car.
Really?
Well, I've heard it so many times when I went over there.
Really?
That's why when our dog was here, we don't take him to Denver.
So you've left your dog at home, right?
Technically, yes, and we also had to leave him with some friends that
Great.
we trusted.
So what was the most important thing you learned through this process, Miss Ayel?
Through this process, I've learned that, that many people know their stuff, and that a lot of people have seen and known several myths and facts about pit bulls.
That's great. So maybe we're a friendlier community for pit bulls
Yeah.
than you originally thought.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me once I looked at all these.
That's great. Well, thank you for talking with us today, and congratulations on a great project.
Thank you for interviewing, even though I'm practically shaking right now.
A little nervous, right?
Yes, yeah.
Well, nice job. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Many of our students find an important personal connection or important community purpose for their personal projects. I'm here with Mari McAtamney, who worked on something around Wounded Warriors Ski Week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What exactly did you do?
For the Wounded Warriors Ski Week, I wanted to focus on how the families are affected from the project, and the families, before they come, aren't able to really work together because their husbands or their wife are suffering from PTSD. And PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. Mm-hmm. And some forms of PTSD, they are able to sit down, or they aren't able to work at all. And then other forms, they don't show any signs of the normal symptoms. But the moment you have them sit down at a desk, they aren't able to do the work that they need to do to make a living.
So you chose this because you have some veterans in your family.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
My uncle, he suffers from PTSD and just went into treatment. And my great-grandpa, he is a Purple Heart recipient.
Wow. That's very impressive, and we certainly thank them for their service.
Yeah.
So after your experience getting to know what they learned or what happened to them during this week, what would you say was the outcome for your personal project, Mari?
The outcome for my project is more about how they're affected, mm-hmm. and how the families have changed. And I got invited to the opening and closing banquet of the event, and Johnny Bright, who is the co-chair for the event, he wanted me to see how the families, they go from being completely normal families and then coming to become families who fight all the time and are unable to really focus, and then after the ski week, reuniting that family and becoming that same family that they were before.
So you saw families coming together after their experience.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. What would you say, Mari, was your global context? How were you working on your project, and what was most important to you as you were doing it?
My global context was fairness and development, and fairness and development is more about how people are able to deal with things and making it so that anyone can deal with it and anyone has a fair chance at it. And my project, I really wanted to focus on the families coming back together and being that same family like everyone else around them. And for them knowing that there are other families, because 10 families come out, them knowing that there's other families out there who will suffer from the same thing just really hit home.
It sounds like it did. Well, thank you for your work.
Yeah.
And I wish you well. Do you think you'll do something with Wounded Warriors Week in the future?
I am doing the slideshow this year for their project,
Oh, wonderful.
and I'm really hoping that I can be a part of BOEC.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. The Breckenridge Outdoor Education Center, BOEC, does a lot of really terrific work in our community, helping veterans and supporting families as they come back together. Thanks, Mari. Congratulations on your good work.
Thank you.
So fortunately, some of our sophomores have a little bit of extra help. I'm with twins Daniel and Mark Davidson, who actually rebuilt a Jeep engine. Okay, so guys, I want to hear from start to finish how this happened. Daniel, you start with what your part of the personal project was, and then Mark will ask you to finish.
All right. So I was the one who rebuilt the engine as a whole. I put pistons, crankshaft, camshaft in it. We bought it back in 2001, and it was beginning to show its age. It had 165,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And when this project rolled around, I thought, what a really good way to just get the project out of the way. And I learned a lot. I was taught by my dad, who's been a master mechanic for 45 years. So yeah, and we were taught a lot, and I had a really fun time doing it.
That's awesome. Now, had you ever rebuilt a car engine before?
I mean, growing up with my dad, we had done small stuff like oil changes and other things like that, but never to the degree that we did this project, no.
Okay, that's awesome. And tell me about the car. It's the family, what do you call it?
We nicknamed it the Little Red Jeep because it's been in our family forever. It was dragged around 3 states and it's been cross-countryed everywhere, so.
It was time.
Yeah,
for a facelift,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's wonderful. So Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about your part of the project?
So what I did, once he finished the engine, I was actually the one who installed it. So it was on a cherry picker. I dropped it into the engine bay, and I hooked up the transmission with the flywheel and torque converter, and then I ran through a series of tests that technically would help the engine start, because when we put it in, it didn't start right away. So I did fuel compression tests, just sort of series of tests that helped eliminate why it wouldn't start. So, and as you can maybe see out there, I don't know, but the Jeep, it runs great. So
It does. So is this now your guys' car?
yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
vehicle.
Great outcome. Now, we don't offer any automotive tech classes at the high school, but we've talked about doing that. Do you think that'd be a good idea for other students?
I would probably think so, because I mean, even just basic mechanical work is probably good for everyone to understand and know how to do. But at this level, what we did was pretty extreme.
Wow, yeah. I know I can't even do an oil change. So the rebuild, upgrade, install, even all those words you were just using didn't mean a lot to me. That's pretty cool. So we've got the Little Red Jeep. I'm thinking your dad's a master mechanic. Does this mean you guys are going to go on and own your own automotive shop, or what's next for you two?
I don't know. Dan and I are both interested in the law enforcement career, but if that doesn't work out for any reason, I mean, being a mechanic is a passion that we both love. So.
That's awesome. So if not a cop, automotive shop.
Yes,
correct.
ma'am.
Yes.
That's great. Well, we want to go take some photos of the Jeep, okay?
Fantastic.
Okay, maybe we'll get a spin as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Easily.
that's great. Thanks, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.